My name's Hazel Hastie. You can just simply call me Hazel. Welcome to my kitchen in Edinburgh. I said to the wee breakout room I was in, I hope you'll forgive me for coming from Edinburgh, but there you go, someone has to. And as we say to my esteemed colleagues in the Presbytery, quite a few of whom are from the West, we say people look east. So there you are. So welcome to tonight's first session, and I'm just going to move my slide on there for you. In fact, if I had it as a slideshow, that would help very much, except it seems to have disappeared. Here we are. Here we are. So isn't technology a great thing? So last week, I understand that there was a session on Presbytery Reform and Presbytery Planning. And this is something that can fill us and has filled many people with some anxieties, some excitement, and some indecisions, wonderings, worries, but also the thought that actually something new and innovative and exciting might come out of Presbytery Reform and Planning. So you'll probably be aware that from 43 presbyteries, we have to reduce to around about 12. And I understand that number is still up for discussion about whether it finally is 12 or finally is 9 or 10. But that's where we are in terms of the reduction in the size of presbyteries. The Presbytery of Edinburgh, as was, became part of the Presbytery of Edinburgh and West Lothian on the 1st of January 2022. So we have 6 months nearly experience of being part of a new presbytery, and what that has meant for us in terms of who we are and what we need to be going forward.
Yeah.
Not unmute.
Yeah.
Hello, somebody's talking to me. There you go. It's gone quiet. So we have, we have to meet new people. We have to get to know each other. There's lots of things that we have to do, and I think we all think that these things can happen quite quickly. And the reality is that sometimes it takes a few months to just understand where your new presbytery reaches. So, for example, Livingston is a bit of a mystery to me, apart from the shopping centre, St John's Hospital, and the Lizzie Bryce roundabout. Now, you might have heard of the Lizzie Bryce roundabout, or you may have not, but it's a very large roundabout in Livingston. So it's how we get to know who we are and what we're for. The Presbytery Mission Plan Act was passed by the General Assembly in 2021, and we are now working locally with Presbytery Mission Plans. All Presbytery Mission Plans have to be agreed by the 31st of December 2022. And if, like in our presbytery, you're experiencing going through the mission plan at the moment, you'll know what that means. And if, like some of our charges, and indeed my own church, which is Dry Law Parish Church, is about to become vacant on the 30th of June. So, like many of you here tonight, we will not be allowed to call a minister, because we, like you, have our presbytery plan sisted whilst we go through the process of the Mission Plan Act. And that can cause some anxieties and some frustrations. We think that as soon as our minister leaves, we should get permission to call another one. But I have to say, having experienced 6 vacancies since I was ordained as an elder, 6 vacancies since 1985. We've had 6 vacancies. And I have to say, my initial thought was, we need to call a minister, we need to be allowed to call a minister and we need to be able to call a minister tomorrow, thank you very much. And if not, why not? But I think as time has moved forward and things have changed, actually, it's been really good for the congregation of which I'm an elder to sit back and reflect and take stock. What is it that we want from a new ministry? And what is it that we can give and share in a new ministry? Some of the things that we can do are practical things, like being involved in worship. For example, playing a guitar or another form of instrument, or reading the lesson, or leading a prayer, or indeed being involved in a worship group leading the service. We might consider looking at training as a worship leader, and we might look at what's around locally. Are there presbyteries near, or indeed do our own presbyteries offer worship leadership training? And what would that mean for us in terms of how we formalise a bit more our experiences of leading worship? Or are we absolutely terrified of it? Does standing up in front of 50 people scare us? Or does standing up in front of 50 people excite us, challenge us, make us think more about our roles as elders, the vows that we took, our calling as an elder? Some elders may wish to undertake training, too many undertakes. Excuse the pun, undertaker, get it? Some of us may wish to train to conduct funerals. Now, that's not everyone's skill or everyone's gift, and of course, but there are many of us who are well versed and well able to undertake such training. We may look at working with community groups to address local issues. Local issues are always at the forefront of most parish lives. There's often community groups who are concerned, as well as elders and members might be, when a church becomes vacant. They worry about what might happen to them if there is no minister. They often think, well, if there's no minister, what does that mean for us? Does it mean that we'll no longer be welcome? Does it mean that we'll no longer be able to use the hall on a Tuesday night? Does it mean that we won't be able to come to a service at Christmas or at the end of school assembly time? And so to continue to engage with community groups during a vacancy is important, to keep that link and that flow between church and community alive and active. Often, your minister will have been chaplain to the local schools, although not always. And again, there's a link that it would be helpful to keep alive. Just because there is no minister doesn't mean to say that there should be no link with the local schools. It's very important to keep all these things part of the life of the church, even although there is no minister there. One thing, actually, one word that I don't particularly like is vacancy. Because vacancy means, as you know, you're vacant. Is that the best way to describe a church without a minister? And personally, I don't think it is. I don't think it's helpful to use that word vacant. We are without, because Everyone else, barring one person, is still there. The life of the church carries on. It is active, it is a presence, and it isn't vacant. It is without a minister. Some people are talking more and more about outdoor forms of church for children and for families, and getting away from the traditional model of things being held in buildings. I believe there's a thing called muddy church. Maybe that's something that some of you are familiar with, as opposed to messy church. And muddy church follows the same principles, but you get very dirty. And this always happens outside and in all weathers. And interestingly, we had a Jubilee fair on Saturday, and we were fortunate with the weather. The sun shone, and it was quite a nice day. And we put all of our stalls outside, and we got people walking past who came to the fair simply because it was outdoors and not indoors. We often think it's a great idea to have everything inside because we have lovely halls and kitchen facilities and toilets and all of those things. And actually, sometimes people would rather do something outdoors than indoors because they're a wee bit worried about coming through doors. Not always, but they sometimes are. Are these things creative ways in which to serve a church, or are they a bit dull and a bit boring? Do you have experience of doing and serving your church in a creative way? And I wonder if there's two people who might just come in now and tell us of something creative that they have done that doesn't involve the things on the list. Any volunteers, two people, to tell us a wee bit about what they've done that we can learn from together. Doreen has her hand up.
I have just let my church hall and kitchen to the food bank children, where this group have set up a new pilot scheme of taking families from the school into the church, feeding them, helping them to prepare the meal, feeding them, and then their parents come and pick them up at 5 o'clock. And I think the first session has gone extremely well. And I think we're hoping that the children's going to grow from the school. And it's obviously the church is showing the care of the community and the children. These people never come to church, but it's a service that the church has opened up to them.
Thank you, Doreen. Jill has her hand up. Jill McLean. Jill, you're on mute. You're still muted, Jill.
Sorry, apologise to. Oh, okay, Doreen. I'm following on from your idea that struck me. We have let our church to a group called Groundworks, who is an after-school group working with disabled and children, and they're going to try and teach them to cook meals using our kitchen facilities and our hall. So that's something different that we've never done before.
Thank you, Jill. And one last person, Mary, will take you as our final person.
Yeah, not really to do with Hollettes and stuff like that, but our church have been trying over the last year to look at different ways of worship and different days worshipping. So we did a prayer course, and out of that we had what we called PRAY, which stood for Pause, Rejoice, Ask and Yield, and it was just a sort of 45 minutes we'd come together, that we would respond to God's word. We would have a couple of praise items, and then we'd have some time of open prayer, and then we'd have a kind of physical, kind of active type of prayer. Like we wrote things that we wanted to think about during the Advent season on ribbons and tied them to the Christmas tree in the church and things like that. So we just tried, just as I say, trying different days to see if that helps as well.
Thank you. Can I just ask the three, Doreen, Jill and Mary, are your churches currently without a minister?
We're a special case. We are technically vacant, but we have a probationer minister who is being remotely supervised at the moment.
Thank you. Jill?
Our church is without a minister at this moment. We have an interim moderator and a locum, but we have no minister.
Yeah.
We have a full-time minister.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Hang on a second. I think I've done something with slides here. Aha. Yeah. So I think we're going to have a wee breakout now to talk about and discussion time to talk about vision in vacancy. And what I'd like you to discuss in your groups are, bearing in mind the Presbytery Mission Plans and what we're working towards as presbyteries, and where we might be in our churches, whether we're with a minister, whether our minister's about to retire, has just recently left, or like Mary, you have someone, an assistant probationer, known as assistant ministers these days, I believe, in post. Do you as individuals, are you wearing glasses that give you 20/20 vision? Are you wearing rose-tinted spectacles? Or are you wearing dark glasses that block everything out? Which of these pairs of glasses are you wearing and why? So if you could discuss in your breakout rooms that question, and we'll come back and have some feedback.